This is a really good example of an irregular parting line, and we're going to be doing that today. I've got two of them. I'm going to cast a full set of 4 where they're all the same size and send these 2 back with the 4 that I cast. In order to get a good finish on the final castings, I'm going to wire wheel these. I've already done one. Whatever this surface is what's going to transfer to my sand. Now we have 2 nicely finished castings. We're going to get the sand ready and round these up. I've got to put a piece of tape over this hole on each one of these. That's not going to cast. I've already done this one. The hole's stopped up, that's the main thing. I believe they actually gated it right in this area here. I am probably going to tie in down here as well. These are wobbling. They're not setting flat on all 4 points, but it seems to level out better if I push down here. So I'm going to shim down on this end along with this side. I'm going to make this a false drag, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to fill this in with sand, flip it over, cope it down to the parting line. So the longest period of time is going to be right now in forming a following path for that parting line. So at this point, I don't care what my sand looks like. The reason I'm not worried too much about this sand on this side is this is going to be disposed of later. This is just a temporary mold to hold the parts in place to establish the parting line. That's all this is for. Also, the speed that you're watching is 32 times faster, so there's no way to do this in 10 minutes. Meet Dollar, everyone. My wife found this puppy at the Dollar General, so she's earned that name, and she sleeps most of the time, but when she's not asleep, she's in everything. Okay, so I am coping down, and when I say that, I am bringing the parting line from a flat plane down to meet the curvature of the patterns. And this is very time consuming. I don't know how long it took to do this part, but I made it look pretty quick here, I know. But I want to make sure I have a good clean edge all the way around where I don't have any flashing if possible. Now I'm starting the first coat of the first mold, and at this point I am concerned about my facing sand because this will actually line the existing cavity. I'm going to get this round up. I'm going to cut the sprue, as you'll see in a second, and then I'm going to roll it over, and I'm going to remove the temporary drag. I'm going to set it to the side. Okay, so I'm carefully separating it, and it took one of the castings with it, so I got to gently put it back in place. Alright, so with this being the actual cope, I'm going to cap off the sprue, and I'm going to put a penny over the pull hole on my little riser there where I don't get sand packed in it, and I'm going to finish the drag out with facing sand and round this up. Depending on the humidity, the sand will act differently from one day to the next. Some days it's fine, some days it isn't. So when you see me raking it over to the edges to repack it, it's just because of the moisture content of the sand at that time. And I'm using magnets to extract the pattern. And then I'll pull my coins up, pull the riser out. And since this is the coat, I'm gonna go ahead and vent it. And there's dollar again. Cutting my pouring basin, blowing out any possible loose sand. And from there, I'm gonna set this to the side and bring the actual drag over. Not the false drag, this is the real one. And I'm cutting the gating into it now, setting it in place and capping it off with the coat that we just saw. And now Dollar's wide awake, and I accidentally stepped on her a second ago. But anyway, we're starting on the second coat of the second mold now, and that's got to be done first. Same process. We're going to punch the sprue, roll it over, and repeat the process. And this is what I was talking about, having to pack the edges good, because the sand that particular day, it was really windy out and it was just creating havoc, even though I'm in a building. So this finishes up the second mold. This is the drag end, and since then I've discarded the false drag. I just did away with it. We don't need that anymore. I'm gonna finish that up, and anyway, Dollar's back asleep again. She's found a good spot. So, getting ready to pour. I had plenty of weight on top, luckily. It's a lot of work to do and have a mold leak on you. And I'm gonna finish out the back line back there. I want y'all to check out my weld. Despite its appearance, it holds. I had to make this contraption to lift these molds. It looks like from here on out I'm going to be using this size. And this thing worked really well. I was able to... all my pallets that these set on are the same width, so I was able to just make it a fixed size. And it just slides right up under there on the conveyor bed, lifts it up, and Dollar is going to demonstrate my ability to weld. She has a lot of faith in me there. And from there, I'm taking it over to the sand vat, dumping it, and you'll see the castings. I got my sequence a little backwards here, but I had already dumped one flask. That's the castings from it, and now I'm dumping the second flask here. Now, something I forgot to mention, I gated these castings in two different places. Originally, I don't know that they were done like this. To prevent any chance of cold shut, I wanted to make sure I get enough metal in the cavity as fast as possible before it starts to solidify. So I may have done an unnecessary measure there, adding the second gate, which created more time for me to have to grind and cut, but I didn't want to take any chance. Oh yeah, those turned out good. To the far end of the vat down there are some of Keith Rucker's 9-inch straight edges that I haven't cleaned up yet. They were cast at an earlier time. But this is the finished product. I got a nice set of 4 legs. The 2 you see right there on the right are the original patterns that I used, and then the 4 stacked here on the left are the ones that I just cast, ground, and cleaned up. And this is me putting them in the kiln for stress relief prior to shipment. But anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this, and have a good day. She's almost there. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Come on, Dollar. You can make it. Kick that rear leg up there. Come on. You got it. You're almost there. You're almost there. Come on. Come on, you can do it. Come on.